Chris, we're going through a rebrand. Not sure if we need this domain name, but let's talk. Hey, Chris Zuiker, author of .com Strategies, the Convert Formula, and now my new book, Domain Name Broker Secrets. Check that out. 65 pages of knowledge on why domain is important. Anyways, that's my topic today, right? Talking about this rebrand. So I was talking to a founder of a company. They'd raised quite a bit of money. And have a business that's turning a profit, but they have a massive problem with their domain name in their brand. Their domain name does not equal their brand and is not helping with your brand equity. So if you know my thesis is your domain equals your brand equity, right? In essence, your domain needs to equal your brand so you create a consistent and an effortless path for your customers. In this case, let's just say there's a lot of companies out there with this keyword domain name. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay, but they call themselves this brand. Okay, so there's a lot of confusion. There's one company that's like a lot of confusion, like very much confusion. And so we're talking about the domain name. I said, hey, just trying to get on your radar for consideration. I mean, you look like a perfect fit. And he's struggling with the price. And so I was going through, domains are assets and it's one of the best asset classes, very much like real estate. So if you can get your head around real estate, you can get your head around domain names, right? Then I walk through different ROI models, hiring an employee, the cost of conversion and increasing your conversion by 1 to 3%. And, the negative risk aspect, I believe that's in my book, by the way, in the last chapter. The negative risk aspect of another company comes up and acquires that domain. Okay, so those are the three things. And he said, hey, we're working with a branding agency right now, and we're actually looking at rebranding because, we know we have a problem, right? So I just got it like the obvious out. Hey, it doesn't even come close, right? What your domain name is your brand, and they knew it. It wasn't a mystery. And so, anyways, he said, "Yeah, we're working with this branding agency." I said, "Great." I said, "But let me ask you this: like, does your branding agency get it, right? Like, what is their domain? Like, do they have the same problem you have?" So you're asking somebody for advice. Hey, how do we brand? Got this major problem with our domain name and our brand and confusion and clarity. Like, do they even own the raw version of the brand? And I said, if they don't, like, fire them right now because they're missing this essence. I said, branding is very difficult. I can't tell you like what color to do your logo. I can't tell you what your logo should look like, worshiping the page. But what I can tell you is your domain name is like a foundational element of branding. And as you're looking for a brand, there's, obviously there's the keyword, one word domain, then you can add 2 words that don't really, like Flipgrid, okay? Like Flipgrid rebranded to Flip. But it's still good, right? Flipgrid is like 2 different words that don't really have much meaning, or you can kind of get into, Red Apple or, different things like that, okay? Or exact match domain names. Then you go to made up domain names. I said, listen, like, let's just look at the 2 extremes here, okay? So you have one extreme, which is a 1-word domain name. And the reason why they have value, the reason you're paying money is you're paying money for the equity in that keyword. Now, what do I mean by equity? Well, equity is, you look at the exact match search, you look at the CPC. So by default, if people are willing to pay to get on that keyword, okay? Let's say it's already their brand, okay? Brand equity, okay? I call it raw equity, brand equity, perceived equity. That's my 3 pillars for domain valuations. Well, guess what? You're capturing that. And so the price of that asset is the price of capturing that and getting off to a very quick momentum. Okay. Now let's say you're already that brand, and you're like, well, we're already this brand, but we'd use this other, this other domain. And I try a buy, a get, or it's like a design or whatever you want to put, insurance, whatever descriptor as far as your industry that you're trying to do. We already have that. It's like, yeah, okay, but like you're not capturing the equity. Like you call yourself this, okay? So by default, what you're doing and paying for that is you're capturing your own equity, okay? So we call raw equity. Like that's why a 1-word domain name is valuable. That's why a 2-word domain name is valuable. That's why exact match domain name is valuable, because there's equity, there's life, there is momentum in the universe, okay? Like the universe, right? The internet, okay? The internet is shown on the internet by people who are willing to pay for it, okay? Raw equity. So that's what you're paying for, okay? It's like, that's why they have value. Now, on the flip to that, a lot of these branding agencies, they, and there's some good ones out there, and if the good ones understood this, listen, you can be great, you can be amazing, but it's a, I don't know, it's a disconnect I see with branding agencies. But if you get it, you get it, and like you're rocking, right? Have that discussion up front. Like, listen, there's two ways you can do this. You can pay for it. Okay, so on the flip side is like these super brandable domain names that don't mean anything. They just a made up word. And yeah, they have some value, okay, in one sense, right? Because you can trademark it. You're like, well, but I can trademark this, and we're unique, super unique. It's like, yeah, you're super unique. Everyone knows you're unique. And you're going to have to pay a lot of money to make sure that they understand and remember your unique brand. Okay, don't think you're not going to invest in it. You're going to have to spend a lot of money investing in your brand because no one knows what the heck it means, right? You made it up. Yeah, sounds cool. Some cool vowels and consonants and whatever, sounds really neat, but don't think you're not going to pay for it, okay? So both extremes you pay. You pay for a one-word domain name, and I'd say for a startup, it's one of the best things a startup can do because like immediately you get the equity in that keyword. Immediately you get the goodwill and the wind and the sales for that keyword, okay? Versus, go the very opposite extreme, a brandable domain name that's just some made up word. You gotta pay a lot of money. Like you're gonna really have to invest, okay? And that's one of the dimension I call industry positioning. Yeah, you own global positioning because no one wants that, okay? But your industry positioning is horrible. Like no one knows your branding and marketing is horrible. Like put the money in, baby. Like you're gonna have to ramp this puppy up. Anyways, going over to, I'm gonna put a link down below, Domain Name Broker Secrets. I need to actually forward that to this landing page, okay? Not doing the best job with my marketing, but there's a link down below. Go download my book, Domain Name Broker Secrets. A lot of great advice. I was kind of on the edge with whether I should even release this because it's my life. It's my years and years of researching domain names, why they're important, my conversations, how I word things, how I speak about domain names. So hopefully you see that value that's there. If you do, make sure you just share it up. That's all I ask, okay? Share up the goodwill, the link to my book, share my posts up, and share it up.